In the heart of the Whispering Woods, nestled beside the crystal-clear waters of the Starlight Stream, lay the forgotten village of Silverdale. For generations, the villagers had lived a peaceful, simple life, their days marked by the rising and setting of the sun. But a shadow had fallen over their home. The Starlight Stream, once teeming with life and sparkling with an otherworldly glow, had grown dim and quiet. The crops in the fields withered, and a strange, listless silence replaced the usual cheerful hum of the village. The elders spoke in hushed tones of an ancient legend, the legend of the Moonlight Key. According to the tale, the heart of the stream was a magical spring, locked away long ago by the forest's first guardian. Only the Moonlight Key could reopen it and restore the water's life-giving magic. But the key was lost to time, its location a mystery wrapped in a riddle. Where the moon kisses the earth and the Ancient One sleeps, the key awaits the touch of a heart that weeps for the woods. In this village lived a young woman named Alara. She wasn't a warrior or a mage. She was a humble herbalist with a spirit as gentle as the forest floor and a heart that felt the wood's pain as her own. While others despaired, Alara refused to give up hope. She spent her days walking the fading forest paths, her heart aching for the wilting flowers and the silent birds. She remembered the stories her grandmother used to tell, stories of a time when the forest hummed with vibrant energy and the stream sang a nightly lullaby. One evening, as a sliver of a crescent moon hung in the twilight sky, Alara sat by the nearly dry stream bed, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. It wasn't a tear of self-pity, but one of deep empathy for the suffering land. As her tear fell and touched the cool, damp earth, a faint silvery light pulsed from the ground beneath her hand. The riddle echoed in her mind, a heart that weeps for the woods. Could it be? With newfound determination, Alara began to dig gently at the spot with her hands. The soil felt strangely warm. After a few moments, her fingers brushed against something cool and smooth. Carefully, she unearthed an object. It was a key, but not made of any metal she had ever seen. It seemed to be carved from solidified moonlight, cool to the touch and shimmering with a soft, internal luminescence. The Moonlight Key. It was real. But holding the key was only the first step. The second part of the riddle haunted her. Where the moon kisses the earth and the Ancient One sleeps. What did it mean? Alara looked around the Whispering Woods. Her gaze fell upon the oldest, most colossal tree in the entire forest, the great oak, whose branches were so vast they seemed to hold up the sky. The villagers called it the Ancient One. Its roots, thick as a man's waist, spread out like sleeping giants. With the key clutched tightly in her hand, Alara made her way to the base of the great oak. The air here was still and reverent. As she stood before the massive trunk, she noticed a small, circular clearing on the ground where no grass grew. It was a perfect circle of bare earth, directly under a gap in the canopy where the moon could shine through unimpeded. This had to be the place where the moon kisses the earth. In the center of this clearing was a flat, gray stone, almost perfectly flush with the ground. Moss grew in a delicate pattern around its edges, and in its very center was a keyhole so overgrown it was barely visible. It looked like it hadn't been touched in 1,000 years. Her heart pounded in her chest. This was it. This was the lock to the magical spring. Taking a deep breath, Alara knelt down. The moon had climbed higher, and a perfect beam of moonlight now illuminated the clearing, bathing the stone lock in a silvery glow. It was as if the forest itself was holding its breath, watching her. With a steady hand, she inserted the Moonlight Key into the ancient keyhole. For a moment, nothing happened. Doubt flickered in her mind. Had she been wrong? Then a low hum began to vibrate through the ground, growing into a gentle tremor. The key began to glow with an intense, brilliant white light, so bright she had to shield her eyes. The light flowed from the key down into the lock and spread through the earth like veins of pure energy. The roots of the great oak pulsed with the same silver light, and the ground around her seemed to sigh with relief. Slowly, she turned the key. It moved with a smoothness that defied its age, clicking into place with a sound that was less a noise and more a feeling, a chord of harmony that resonated deep within her soul. A great rushing sound filled the air. Back at the village, the Starlight Stream began to bubble. Water, clear and bright, surged from its source, no longer a trickle but a joyful flowing river. But this was no ordinary water. It sparkled with tiny motes of light, a liquid constellation that cast a magical glow on the banks. The withered plants along the stream began to unfurl, their colors returning with impossible speed. The air grew sweet with the scent of blooming night flowers. Elara ran back to the stream, her feet barely touching the ground. The village was already stirring, windows lighting up as people were drawn from their homes by the miraculous sight. The water sang its old song once more, a melody of life and magic. Children who had only known the dim, silent stream laughed and splashed in its glowing waters. The elders looked on, tears of joy in their eyes, as the light of the stream reflected in the happy faces of their community. The magic didn't stop at the water's edge. Over the next few days, a transformation swept through the entire Whispering Woods. The leaves on the trees regained their vibrant green. The birds returned, their songs filling the morning air, and the crops in the fields stood tall and healthy. The listless silence was replaced by a vibrant hum of life. Silverdale was reborn. Elara became a hero, not through strength or power, but through her compassion and her unwavering connection to the natural world. She hadn't sought glory only to heal the home she loved. She showed everyone that the greatest magic isn't found in spells or artifacts, but in a caring heart and the courage to act on it. The Moonlight Key was placed on a pedestal in the village square, not as a relic of the past, but as a constant reminder. A reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. It taught them that the health of their world was tied to their own, and that the quietest person with the biggest heart could be the one to turn the key and bring back the light. And so the village of Silverdale thrived, its people living in harmony with the magical woods, their story passed down through generations. And every night when the moon shone down on the Whispering Woods, the starlight stream would sparkle just a little brighter, a silent thank you to the girl who listened to the forest's sorrow and dared to find its key. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey to Silverdale. If you enjoyed this story, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to the channel for more tales of magic and wonder. Let me know in the comments what your favorite part of the story was. Until next time, stay curious.